she was here. Amy Emery with Amy Emery Interior Design was giving some tips on paint colors, and Megan was just talking about what a great job she did. And you mentioned last time starting a room with a rug, right? And so we wanted to bring you back in and kind of talk about that, because I mean, a rug can really change everything, or be your focal point to kind of guide you through everything.
It is. It's kind of the thing that pulls a whole room together. And that I realized after I said start with a rug that so many people have a ton of questions. Okay, how do I do that?
Like, what do you mean? Just a small rug, a big rug, a medium-sized rug?
Well, I mean, the size of the rug is one of the most important things. I mean, that's where you need to start, because when you go into a rug store, you'll see hundreds of rugs, but most of them are divided up by sizing. So you can really save yourself a lot of time and frustration by knowing what size you're looking for before you start your hunt. That way you won't fall in love with some rug that
it's just too big or
too small for your space. So basically, it varies by room on what type or size of rug you do. So in a living space, generally there's some rules of thumb.
Here, I can hold it for you while you play Vanna White, and I'll
generally, if you've got a small to medium-sized living space, the point of a rug in a living space is to create a focal point and define your seating space. So if you've got a smaller size room, I say lay out your furniture either in the room or on a drawing and measure the outside of it, and then subtract about 2 feet. That makes sure in your smaller room that you still have room for circulation around the outside of the room, and you're not stepping and tripping on rugs, on the corners of rugs. If you've got a larger room and you've got more space, then measure the outside of your seating area and add about 2 feet. And then that way your rug is still in scale to your room.
Because do you want, because I see how this is like the furniture kind of, on the rug. Like I've seen some that has the furniture almost around, and then the rug is just here in the middle, not touching the furniture. Is that a no-no?
I think that is the least desirable way to lay out a rug in a living space. Really, I mean, what you want is you want it to feel cozy and soft. And if you've got all that floor showing and furniture not on a rug that you could just step off onto a hardwood floor, it just looks out of scale to your seating space. Really. But there is one way. If you've got a rug, say it's a smaller scale rug and you absolutely love it and it's from your grandmother, or you found it at a store and it's just too small for your space. One trick I love is to layer them. Actually take the smaller rug and lay it on top of something like this. I mean, this is an example of a Sisler rug, just something that's got some texture, overall sort of a solid look to it. But that way you still can make this rug larger, define the space that you're trying to define, and then put the smaller rug over it, kind of like just a little pop of color, and you can still use your smaller rug.
But you wouldn't want the smaller rug like that, like under the furniture where only some of it showed, right? You want to make it proportional.
It's all kind of proportional. You're trying to make sort of an even border around it and keep things centered. Now the same thing, when you're looking at sizing your rugs in other rooms, in a dining room, the rule of thumb is measure your dining room table and then add about 48 to 54 inches to that overall dimension.
You want chairs on it too. You don't want half your chair hanging off.
There's nothing more annoying than when you scoot your chair back in, you get stuck on the outside of a rug. So dining, you want to make sure that all of your furniture fits on the rug, and if you have a tiny rug under a table that's pointless, you don't even see it.
Kind of
So
that's a throwaway.
That's the rule of thumb there. And then in bedrooms, kind of the same thing. It's nice to step out of your bed onto something soft and cozy. So I always say measure your bed. If you've got a king size, add about 2 feet per side to make sure that you have room to step on that rug when you pop out of bed in the morning. Usually a general rule is that on a king size bed, 9 by 12, 9 by 13 works pretty good. And a queen size, I wouldn't go any smaller than an 8 by 11. 8 by 10 is getting a little tight.
Because otherwise you're kind of just hiding the rug and it's a waste anyway.
It's a total waste.
If you can't see it, you just spend all that money on the rug. Now what's your rule of thumb about putting rug over carpet?
It definitely can do that, and where I recommend doing that is if you have a really large room, say a bonus room or a really big living room that just sort of is a sea of carpet, and you really need to define your spaces. That's when you use a rug. So a lot of times, like in a bonus room, you'll have a seating area where you watch movies, then you'll have the pool table over on another side. Use a rug to define one of those spaces.
It's almost like different dividers, almost, without dividing them.
Right. So same rule goes for sizing of it, that you want it to define that seating space, but it helps to break up a big sea of carpet if that's what you're working with.
And what if you, I mean, what if you're looking at a kind of a unique space that maybe isn't just your standard sizes?
Happens all the time. And you know, people usually shy away and they get really scared of the word custom.
Yeah.
But if you go to any carpet store, there are, you know, hundreds of options in any price range to get a custom size rug. Basically, you can pick any carpet and have it bound, cut and bound to your specific needs and your sizes. You can even have cutouts or curves or whatever you need done to it to make it fit your space. And sometimes that's the only way you can go to make it work. There are some odd shaped and sized rooms out there. So.
Yeah, that you...
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
Before we let you go, when you're thinking of a rug and you're thinking of your furniture you have, are you trying to be matchy-matchy with your furniture, or do you want it to set out just a little bit?
You know, there's lots of different schools of thought on that one. I like either heavy contrast, meaning the rug is something really light or really dark and everything sits on it really pops.
Okay.
Or if you're going for that tonal look, then make sure that you've got different textures you're working with. You don't want all your textures to blend in if you're doing a tone-on-tone design.
Okay.
But contrast is always a good thing, and that keeps you from getting too matchy-matchy.
There we go.
And talk to an interior designer if you have questions, right?
Call me.
Like, you just saw her website and her phone number on the screen. Give her a call. She'd be glad to look at everything you have and get you hooked up. Thank you so much, Amy. We love you. Come on. Amy Emery Designs. Very cool.
Yes. And coming up, we'll talk about our question of the day. What's the most daring thing you've ever done?
We'll read some of your Facebook answers next.